Hello, welcome to everyone on board. This is Jetstreamers, around the world podcast trip where I chat to your favorite streamers on each leg of the journey. It is Tuesday, the 13th of June, 2023, and we are departing from the capital of Turkmenistan, which is Ashgabat, and we're heading to one of the oldest cities in the world, which is Samarkand in Uzbekistan. And we're going to be flying over the Karakum Desert and the historical Amu Darya River. I apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly. And we're going to be entering Uzbekistan and landing in Samarkand later this afternoon. In just a few moments, we'll dim the lights and get ready for takeoff. Buckle up. Remember, in case of emergency, I'm in charge and you're in a metal tube in the air, so you're doomed. And our co-pilot today is a streamer who specializes in wholesome chaos. She's going to feel right at home here, and has one of the most welcoming and friendly communities on Twitch. And I know this as a fact because I've been watching you ever since the beginning of this month when I was alerted to you with Pride Month. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, she's also part of the UK and Ireland Twitch Pride campaign. Please welcome Eeowna.
I don't stand by the welcoming chat because they're nothing but chaotic and trouble, honestly.
I mean, that's how I kind of experience my own community. So maybe to me, I'm like, oh, this is like home. This is like a home away from home. Oh my God, I forgot my hat. Where is my hat? Oh, it's down here. Yeah, I just look like I've just come out of work, doesn't it? There we go. I was bought this by my partner as a Secret Santa present. That was...
that's great.
Very, very generous. And yeah, I've got to wear it every time. And this is not the weather to be wearing thick white shirts, unfortunately, and hats.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I'm boiling. I'm actually melting.
It's really, really bad. But yeah, well, let me go and, well, let's get ready to take off, right? We won't have AI piloting on, even though that's probably a good idea. And let's get flying.
I love they're all like yelling brace.
Yeah. Brace is when we land.
We haven't crashed. You don't brace when you take off.
Yeah. Although the way that I kind of rev up the engine before releasing the brakes, everyone gets whiplash when they're about to take off.
So don't mind my chat. We have this joke that I used to have this thing called Eeowna Airlines in my chat, and they refused to wear pants on the flight whenever we took off. So don't mind them. I
mean, I'm not going to stand up. Let's say it is far too hot to be wearing trousers today. Absolutely not. Oh my God, that you even have an emote for it.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately. Not by choice. I was forced to.
But yeah, I love that I'm not even looking at the flight and we're going like 90 degrees to the right. But yeah, hello, welcome to the podcast. I mean, I don't know, maybe, have you ever been to Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan?
I have not. I've been to a few pretty cool places, but not there.
Sorry, Turkmenistan, that was it, yeah. So you've never been, okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I had a look at because we were leaving Turkmenistan, and I had a look at the information about it, and it was like in the list of press freedom, Turkmenistan is like third from bottom, only surpassed by South Sudan and North Korea. So I thought,
an interesting place to do a podcast.
That is, yeah. We are around the world. We did start off in Cardiff about 3 years ago during lockdown. And have been going leg by leg, making our way around the world. The next few stops we've got coming up include Islamabad in Pakistan and New Delhi. And also, I'm going to be trying to land at the most dangerous airport in the world in Nepal. So that's...
Love that for us.
That is, yeah, that'll be a, bum clutching moment.
Just a fun day out,
Exactly, yeah. Exactly, yeah, just with a bit of terror. Yeah, welcome. So yeah, have you ever? Where's the furthest? Like, I was about to say the furthest east you've been, but it's probably way further than this. Have you ever been anywhere close to these places before?
I've been to the Gambia and South Africa. That's probably the closest I can think of.
Okay, wow. Oh, very nice. That's nice. When was that? Was that quite recently?
South Africa was probably about 10 years ago, and then Gambia probably about 8 or 7, I think.
That's really cool. Well,
yeah, very, very interesting places. The Gambia was just a whole experience.
Yeah, because I used to be an English teacher. I've taught a couple of students from the Gambia, and ones that have been there and come back and stuff. And yeah, I've heard some really cool things about it.
It's just so tiny, but still so much in there.
Yeah, like Wales. But well, first things first. How's your date been? Oops. He says, just sorry about that banking. If anybody's drink just got spilled, then go
Everyone
fetch
bracing for the turbulence.
it. Yeah. So I'm going to put on, now this is what I normally do. I'll put on autopilot, then I can just kick back a bit and just let everything else happen. There we go. Your drinks are safe now, and those bags, just put them back up in the overhead compartment. And I apologize.
Who needs oxygen?
I apologize.
Overrated.
Oh, but yeah, so how's your day been, Eeowna?
Warm. So very warm.
Yeah.
We need air conditioning. I don't know why it's not a thing in the UK now. Like, this is the coldest summer we'll ever have. We need air conditioning.
We definitely do. Yeah, it's like when people are comparing like in the US how it gets way, way hotter. It's like, yes, but they have big airy rooms with aircon.
Yeah, they complain like you should feel real heat when they're like sat in air conditioned rooms. Like, yeah, it's way hotter here. Like, it's hotter in my house than it is outside. I live in a brick oven.
Yeah, it's true. And I lived in Spain for 8 years, and it's worse here. Like, it's a lot hotter over there. And there's some places there that don't have aircon, and you just open everything up, and there's like usually a breeze that'll go through. Here, no, it's just kind of sweat. Sweat and
it's just
stuffy.
hot everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Have you been, do you have a streaming PC and a gaming PC, or is it one PC?
One PC that does it all, that's in desperate need of a clean.
Oh, nice. So a bit like that's just been heating the room, has it?
Yeah, I'm not a PC gal, so I have no idea what's in it. I just got it built, and then I was too scared to open it, so I haven't done anything to it, but I'm pretty sure there's a spider that lives in there.
Oh, mine. Speaking of, not spiders and gross things. I woke up this morning. This is because today is obviously Tuesday the 13th, which actually in Spain, go back to Spain again, it's Tuesday the 13th is their version of like Friday the 13th. Their like horror day is this day. I woke up and it was a sign. My water on the side of my bed just had the world's biggest fly just floating in it. And I'm like, oh. I'm very glad I saw that before going for a drink this morning. Oh. But yeah, it is. Are you superstitious at all?
Not really. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I won't like rock the boat. Like if something's bad luck, I won't just actively go and do it because YOLO. But
yeah. No,
it's not something that I like consciously know about. I just, if I know something's bad luck, I just, stay away from it. You don't want to, I'm a woman of science and I don't want to risk,
yeah, you don't want to, you don't want to test that.
No, sometimes some experiments don't need to be done,
Yeah, exactly. Actually, flew quite, oh, damn it. I forgot to put the wheels up. Oh dear, I don't know. It won't do it now. Great. But anyway, I was on a flight the other day and I realized that they don't have a 13th row. I didn't realize that was a thing, but apparently it is.
I think it's the same with some hotels, isn't it? They don't have certain rooms.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, outside of streaming, how's your life?
It's been a roller coaster, really. Like, I feel like everyone's like, yeah, dream job, but like in the background, there's been so much. So like, if you take the last year, finished my PhD, started doing some teaching for PhD, got dumped out of an 8-year relationship, moved back home with my parents, and then the same day, few days before, the same month I got dumped, my gramps like went through some health issues, and we finally got a diagnosis for Alzheimer's this month. It took ages to get like the official, because once you get the official words, then you can get aid. But until you've got a diagnosis, there's not a whole lot you can get in terms of help, because they're like, well, what's wrong with him? And we're like, well, we have our guesses, but that isn't enough for government aid. So now we can get the ball rolling with like medication and hopefully in-house help for him. But it's been a year.
That has been, that is an awful year. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that.
Oh no.
But it's good that, it's good to get kind of confirmation so they can help, especially with like, the UK health system, everything. We've got like, I mean, there are people with ADHD and like having to wait for 2 years on lists before they can actually get some help like that. So I'm glad to hear that that's happening. But it sounds like you've had a bit of a roller coaster. How was lockdown for you?
Oh, that's a whole. So at the time,
sorry if I'm bringing up trauma here.
No, I think it's interesting to know, because like, whilst I personally, as someone who loved no excuse that I didn't have to go anywhere, like that side of lockdown was the sheer dream. I didn't have to make up a single excuse because no one was asking me to do anything. It was beautiful. But in reality, it was me and my partner in a tiny studio flat. Like, you could walk across it in, I don't know, 5 steps, 6 steps.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Because obviously we before lockdown happened, we were barely in the house. Like, we were both full-time at university, and in the evenings we were doing societies, out of friends, you name it, we're doing it. So in terms of being in that room, it was like an hour or two before sleep, kind of, and that was it. And then lockdown happened, and all of a sudden we were inside of there for months together, which we did pretty well, I think, all things considering during it. But yeah, we were definitely one of the many stats of, like, we didn't have a garden, like, so we couldn't go sit out there. Like, there were no communal spaces open. There was just this tiny box room and the two of us trying to, you know, keep entertained.
Oh, yeah, that is, yeah, I was luckily I was in a house, which is weird because I was in a house in kind of central Cardiff with a garden, like 3 stories, and I was paying a lot less for that than I do in this small apartment in London. I kind of miss the garden. But yeah, no, being cooped up with somebody like during lockdown, it really tests things. Because yeah,
it was interesting.
I'm one of the stats where not together anymore as well.
So we made it through that, and then it was the after part that we didn't make it through. Like,
yeah,
it was weird.
Same with that. Now, moving on to something from that to something completely different and chaotic. I've heard that you've had fires and explosions in your chemistry lab. You said you are a woman of science. What happened?
So if you don't know, I did a PhD in chemistry, and one part of doing a PhD is when undergrads do their dissertation for doing their 3rd or 4th year, depending on their degree, they get assigned to us. We then take care of them and help them with their experiments, but there is no like lecture. We are the teacher. There is no one in between us. I am directly. So I've had anything from a student, like, there's like a glass wall so you can see into the lab and watch them at all times.
Yeah.
And I've seen this like little knock on the door, and I'm like, yes. And they're like, come. So I walk over and they're like, just a quick question. Should that fume cupboard be on fire? And I'm like, you're a 4th year. You've been through how many years? Of course it shouldn't be on fire. What? I was like, did you put it out? And they were like, no, I just kind of looked at it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why don't you go put it out? And they're like, oh, okay. And then slowly walk over to do it. That was one of the many fires. I had another day where I walked into the lab and I just looked down and the bin's just smoking.
Oh, bins. That's great.
So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I just stick my head out and I'm like, you two, come here. And I'm like, who put something in this bin? And then one of the other PhDs was like, oh, so I must not have made what I thought I would have made. And I was like, how do you know that? And he's like, because my desired product is not flammable.
Wow.
Well, that's one way to find out. And I was like, have fun wording that in your thesis, like figuring out that wasn't your product.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is, yeah. But I mean, I guess it's never one day the same.
No, it was, honestly, lockdown was really good for me because originally I thought I was thriving at the science side of things. And I was like, yeah, I'll carry on doing this. Like, I enjoy this. And then when we came back, obviously you have all the COVID restrictions. So it went from, like, there were like 6 of us in a lab and like we were all in rows, and there must have been like 30 people on our floor, and I was great friends with about 20 of them. So it was all like, I was thinking like, yeah, I thrive in science. We took away all the people. I figured out, no, I don't thrive in science. I thrive in people. Like, without the people, I was like, this isn't so fun. So I'm so glad I discovered that before I went into another job, and then discovered that it wasn't maybe necessarily the science that was the part I was loving so much.
Oh, well, that's good. That sounds amazing. Yeah. Explosions and fires. That's, yeah, I love it.
But loads of people are like, oh, do you regret doing a PhD now this is your job? And it's like, no, those transferable skills, like, okay, yeah, I don't like read off of a periodic table every day anymore. But like in a PhD, you don't know what you're doing, because the way you get a PhD is you have to research something no one else has ever researched before, right? So there is no right answers.
Yeah.
So everything is up to you. Like, you've got to be headstrong and just say, okay, I'm going to do this, see how it works out, reevaluate. And I feel like it's similar in streaming. Like, no one has the answer.
No.
There is no like formula to this is how you grow on this platform or that platform. You know, it's just constantly trying things, readjusting.
Yeah.
So it's just, in other words, I feel like it's just a different type of science.
They'll try and do it. They'll put it on Twitter and be like, you need to do this. And then the replies are just full of people going like, I didn't do it like that and I'm fine. And yeah, I try and stay off Twitter as much as I can these days, although it's very difficult. But it just seems to be getting worse and worse. But I just love the idea of somebody going and like seeing a fire in the lab and going, it could be normal. Yeah, it might be.
There was another one where like I just see this person go like this to me. So I come in and he's like, this is going to be the weirdest thing I've ever asked you. And we have this furnace and it goes to about 1500 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
And there's this tiny, and it was only like this big, a little blue flame just like sticking out the side of the furnace.
Oh.
And he was like, I can't move my left hand because I think it's the only thing keeping this from fully coming apart. And he was like, I need you to, and he was like, again, this is going to be really weird. I need you to put a glove on my other hand. So and then a supervisor kind of walked past as I'm like behind him, just putting a glove on his one like hand like this. And I'm like, this is so weird, but it's the best way to do this.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, can't wait. By the way, someone said, speaking of explosions, yes, there is a restroom. It's at the back. But yeah, one at a time. And Little Cherry Berry says, it's 1500 degrees C in my room right now. Yeah, ours as well. Oh, so let's go on to your streaming journey then. Why did you decide one day that you wanted to stream and when did you start?
It's kind of a mix because I think I did a few YouTube videos first. And that was a big part of me streaming was I had no one to play Nintendo Switch games with.
Oh.
No one. And I was like, oh, I really want to find people to play with. And I don't know why watching Twitch wasn't my first assumption rather than streaming and then also watching Twitch. But I was like, oh, screw it. I'm just going to stream.
Yeah.
See if I can. My goal was to find like 1 or 2 people to play a game with. That was it.
That's really
but
nice.
with YouTube, it was more like, hey, every time I Google something to do with Nintendo, why is it only men? Like, why is there no, like, woman or even, like, not even going further, queer representation, but no, why is everyone reviewing games a man on Nintendo YouTube? And I was like, I would love to hear from someone who looks like me, but there's no one on there that looks like me, so I guess I'll just do it and be that person for someone else.
And when was this?
That was beginning of lockdown, so... Okay. Once I bought everything, I think before when I was starting streaming, I was also doing really, really bad YouTube videos for a bit. And then streaming became more of my focus. I stopped YouTube. And then once I started plateauing on Twitch, I was like, I wanna grow. Everyone says you need to go on other platforms. So then I started TikTok with some really cursed Animal Crossing content.
Oh.
And I grew about 20k on there.
That's
that
amazing.
Helped with Twitch then. And then eventually I was like, oh, I'm going to circle back to YouTube. Like, I've got more skills. I've learned how to edit on TikTok now. I've been doing TikTok for a year. I'm going to try and go on YouTube. And at that point, everyone was like, oh, I'm so burnt out of Animal Crossing. And they're like, Eeowna, what games do you play? And I was like, fun fact, not Animal Crossing anymore at all. So I was looking for a way to like, and everyone was asking for game suggestions. And I kind of came across this word cozy and I was like, screw it, I'll just make a video with like cozy game suggestions that aren't Animal Crossing that I've been playing. And the kind of just went from there.
And it seems to have like really exploded kind of the cozy genre with like the wholesome directs that we've had for the last 2 years. Like people are
so
really
I definitely
wanting it.
Wasn't the first. Cozy K or Kennedy was probably the first one I know of. But the way I see cozy is, yeah, it's more of a vibe than a genre, which kind of opens it back up. Because, like, you know, some people will find racing games really soothing, and I can't drive. So racing games don't do that for me, you know?
Sometimes flying games are cozy and relaxing. Sometimes if the pilot is terrible, it's a thrill ride.
But I personally think what's made strengthen this area is it just seems to be so much more accepting and so much more open. And we all know what it's like to have been gate kept from being a gamer, right? Like we've all been told we're not real gamers, you don't belong here. We've already seen on Twitter what the wider gaming space is for LGBT people recently.
Oh, yeah.
So in that respect, like, and the reason why we gravitate to a lot of indie games is they're doing representation in a way no AAA game dare to currently.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if we're being frank, like they don't care whether who screams woke or whatever at them.
Yeah.
These indie games are just like LGBT representation and so much more body types, you name it. They've got it in these indie games.
No, it's true. Yeah, I think it was like perfectly embodied a few, about a year or so ago when they announced like Coral Island. And I was like, yeah, this is a company that listens. And like I've seen so many since then. I mean, there were many before that as well, but it was just like the perfect epitome of them listening to people like us. It's been quite the Pride Month, hasn't it, for like LGBT hate on Twitter?
It's been the worst. I would say I knew going into this year that given everything that was happening, this was going to be, I called it more representation, more like, you know, like old school Pride, where it was less a celebration and more of a protest.
Yeah.
And I knew going into it that was the vibes I was almost prepared for, but I was really disappointed to see how much of that has come into streaming space.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting it in terms of real life, but I was most definitely not expecting to see the number of creators I have been disappointed in who have been either, it was not even just some of them is what they say and some of them it's been what they've avoided saying. Like some of them it's been they don't want to lose that viewer base, so they won't or they won't even bother to speak out regardless of what their beliefs are.
And because of like on Twitter now, the fact with the Twitter Blue being pushed and stuff, like people's views and stuff on there are getting a lot more extreme, so that the nuanced viewpoint is actually a lot further to the right than it was before. So they're like,
Which has always been extreme.
Yeah, but it's all but now it's like those people are getting pushed. It's just I need to find an app or something that just removes people that pay for it. And I'm sure there are some lovely people, and in fact I know some nice people that pay for Twitter Blue, but like I think if you just got rid of all of those people from replies, it might be better. But I think just
it's been a week, honestly.
Yeah, it really has. What's the story? I mean, I can probably guess, but what is the story behind your username?
Oh, so my real name's Eeowna. And I've had the username Eeowna long before I was a streamer anyway, and that's because I'm half Welsh. So when I went and I did Welsh Nationals for swimming, they would always pronounce my name as Eeowna. So that's kind of where it originated from, but it was a conscious decision on Twitch because a lot of people, a wild amount of people read the word Eeowna as loner.
Oh, okay, yes.
And I was like, I don't care any pronunciation of the word Eeowna. Like I get Eeowna, Eeowna. I don't care anything that isn't loner is fine with me.
Yeah.
So I was a kind of a conscious decision that people would kind of get close to my name. And I wanted something, I know this was like really probably big-headed at the time, but my idea was if someone yelled it in the street, I wanted to be able to think that they were talking to me.
Yeah.
And not be something so outfield that I would never have thought they were referencing me.
Yeah, I can see that. Where in Wales are you from? Because I lived in Cardiff. I've lived in Cardiff like 6-7 years. Like before, I went to university there, and I lived there when I came back during lockdown. I was there.
My mum's from the rough Rumney.
Rumney? I've never been to Rumney. Is that in the valleys?
Yeah, it is. Very, very thick Valley's accent from my mum.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that accent. Oh, it's such a beautiful place. Like really beautiful.
Yeah, the towns around there are interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they're really they are strong communities, like really close communities.
Because my gramps still lives in his original council house that he's had for like I want to go like 40 plus years at least. And so much he loves the area so much that as of like I think it was only about 10 years ago, it might have been less than that, he was on the council.
Oh wow.
He got everyone voted for him to be on the council to represent the council estate that he was on because he had been there so long. He was so social. He talked to everyone.
That sounds like a perfect politician. That's what they like. That is the type of person that should be in politics.
And the only reason he ran in the first place was anyone who ran got free food. And he said that he was there and there were people like shaking with their little reading off their papers. He had prepared nothing. He had gone purely for the food. And they were like, so he just stood up and he just said a bit about, you know, him living there and how much he likes it and everything he knows about the council estate, and walked out there on the on the council.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's like really, really good though. Now, how did you find streaming at the start? So you said at the very beginning you kind of just started because you were wanting to find people to play like games with. How did that happen? And then how did you kind of, obviously you evolved when you started going into cozy games, but how was it right at the very start? Were you scared? Was it?
So right at the very beginning, so the only reason I knew of Twitch was because of Jenna and Julian.
Okay.
And it was only until lockdown that I realized that you didn't have to sub to people to watch people. So they were the only people I watched because I used my Prime on them. So I thought, oh, I only get one Prime a month, so I can only watch them. So every month I'd tune in and watch them. And then it was only when my brother was like, you know, you can watch anyone. You just don't have to have the adverts on the people you sub to. And it was like, oh, this whole world opened up. But I started, actually, my first game I streamed was Splatoon 2.
That is a great game.
Because I think it was because I had a YouTube video do all right about Splatoon 2. So when I was like, finally like, oh, I'm just going to do this. That was the natural first video.
Yeah.
First like game I played. And then I was like, what am I doing? I should just play Animal Crossing. Like I play that every day. Why don't I just play Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
So then I went into almost exclusively Animal Crossing for like a year or so, I think. And then I got the 2.0 update came along with the announcement that there was going to be no more updates.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I started dabbling in a bit of Pokemon again. And then as soon as my YouTube channel started going, everything just kind of opened up to, oh, I'll just play whatever is out. Whatever is coming out, I'll just play that on the Switch. Done.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
Like I have some focuses, like, you know, Disney Dreamlight Valley and stuff are the things I gravitate more towards, mainly because they do constant updates.
Yeah.
And also I like, with my chat's energy, I need games which some days I don't have to look at particularly much.
Yeah.
Because chat will just be like...
Yeah, if you're trying to like read everything that's like being said in a game, sometimes something like, yeah, Disney's great. I've recently got back into Disney because I didn't realize the time slider thing, because I usually stream in the evening, so I'm like, oh, it's always dark. Remy's always asleep. I mean, he's still always asleep. It's just light. But like whatever happens now, I can actually play the game in the sunlight, which is nice.
Yeah.
Rather than just the darkness. But okay, now what have you learned along the way in your streaming journey that you wish you'd known when you first started streaming?
Oh, things I wish I'd known.
Yeah.
I think one of them is you don't have to share everything online.
You don't?
Is one. Like you're safe to have little aspects of your life that you just have as your own.
Yeah.
The big one is learning to set boundaries, and that actually benefited me in real life from the streaming as well.
Oh, okay.
Well, I managed to set hard boundaries during my PhD because I was getting walked on a little bit by my supervisors. And I kind of, through streaming, kind of found my voice, but also my worth at the same time. Yeah. I think a lot of things people don't know about PhD students is you are a student, not an employee, but you don't count towards university rankings. So you don't have any legal rights in terms of working hours, working conditions. I know of some PhD students in certain universities who have had cameras put on them.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are no laws. There are no standards a supervisor is held to. And there is no way other supervisors don't know what other supervisors are doing. So you have no legal rights. You don't count towards the rankings, which means that your happiness, it means literally nothing. The only stat you are a percentage of people who have completed, and that is it.
Well, I'm glad you managed to use the confidence from streaming there to stand up for yourself.
So our university thankfully got rid of it, thanks to us speaking out, had a policy where you had to do 40 hours of teaching for free as part of your PhD.
Oh, what? Oh.
Because we are vital, because basically for a chemistry PhD, for a chemistry degree, all the undergraduates are in the lab all at once. And the only way they can look after all of them is through PhD students. So instead of offering good money, they made it mandatory for every single one of us to put in at least 40 hours for free work so that they would never run out of demonstrators.
Wow.
Which was legal because they can do what they want with PhD students.
That is shocking. I feel like as well, like these days, I don't know if it's just my kind of impression and maybe it's not true, but the kind of the free or the unpaid internships tend to be a little kind of more frowned upon these days and aren't as common. I don't know if
It
that's...
hasn't made it to education. Is so behind though.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Like, education is just a whole own thing. It's absolutely wild.
Oh. Are you enjoying? Well, you're much more enjoying being a streamer then.
Yeah, I did it at the same time of doing my PhD for a while.
Wow.
I was writing up my thesis and streaming at the same time.
Goodness. Wow. How many hours like a day were you doing when you were writing up your thesis?
Oh, I had. Don't be like me. This is a terrible routine. I would wake up late. We find out why I wake up late in a second. I'd wake up at like 11, stream at 2, so I wouldn't do anything in that window other than get ready. Finish stream at 6. 6 till 7, I would make a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Have dinner 7 to 8, and then 8 till 3 was thesis.
Till 3?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm actually like that as well. You were kind of a night owl. You do all your most productive stuff at night.
I have chronic fatigue, so it's kind of normal that you get your hours mixed up.
Yeah.
So yeah, chronic fatigue people have the most interesting sleeping patterns because you just... Well, I have medication, but still, I don't take it early enough because I forget.
Oh, no. Oh, wow. Yeah. 3 o'clock, you get, I don't know, for me, I always end up, like 2, 3 o'clock. During lockdown and stuff, I was going to bed at like 5 sometimes just.
If it wasn't for Animal Crossing and lockdown, I don't think I would have had any sleeping pattern whatsoever.
Yeah.
I would always get up to check my turnip prices. That was literally the only reason I had to get up.
True. Very true. And if you want to sell something
prices.
like, oh, no, the Nook's Cranny is closed. We're currently flying over the Karakum Desert at the moment. You can see down there, very, very sandy, although it has some water in there as well. But yeah, we'll be crossing the desert, the Amu Darya River, very soon as well, which is on its way into Uzbekistan. Now, do you have any advice for people who are starting out on Twitch right now?
Just have fun, honestly. Like, it's only your dream job if you have fun. And I've seen so many people turn it into an absolute nightmare that by the time they maybe get what they wanted, they're burnt out, they hate it, they can't imagine doing this anymore, kind of thing. And I know, I hate saying this because it is always met with the worst reaction, but partner is literally meaningless.
Yeah.
It is, I've seen, so statistically, if you big up getting partner a lot, you tend to notice one of the biggest drop-offs ever. And I feel like if you make partner purely your goal and like that's it from the moment you start streaming, you're like, I want to get partner, that is your only goal, then it's really hard to go from there.
Yeah. Because
it feels underwhelming when you get it. You're like, oh, now what? And you realize nothing's changed. Which is how I felt. I was like, I'm so happy. And then 2 hours later, I was like, everything's the same.
Yeah. Some people say that's when the work starts.
Yeah. Also true. True. But the way I see streaming is it's a reward. Like, my growth doesn't happen from me clicking go live.
Yeah.
My growth happens from everything else happening behind the scenes. So I think it's one of the reasons I haven't got burnt out is that streaming, it's not that it's meaningless. I think that's the wrong word. My career doesn't depend on my Twitch. My income doesn't depend on my Twitch. So I can have fun and do what I want on the stream and just live my best life.
What do you do behind the scenes that you think is like the most valuable for your career?
YouTube.
Would you say if somebody was starting out now and they wanted to grow and they had, maybe, I mean, if they had aspirations to do it like full time or something, but would you recommend then that they do YouTube as well? Or is there any other platform you think would be a good suggestion?
YouTube, or I haven't seen a platform that can match the revenue you can earn from being sponsored on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
When I got my first sponsorships, I was outstanding. I was just shocked by the amount they were offering compared to Twitch
Really?
streams. Because the thing about YouTube videos is they can vet it before it goes. Every single time I have a YouTube sponsorship, be it the 60-second or an entire video, they need to see the entire video before you put it up. And because of that, because they can predict what medium it's going on, exactly what's going to happen, it's worth so much more.
Yeah.
Than a live stream where literally anything, you can be derailed by anything, you can read out the wrong comment, you can just happen to have a bad day, you know, you name it.
Yeah.
It's an immediate brand risk, so you are worth less money.
Yeah, no,
on live streaming.
I know that personally from thanks to my mods. I was doing a sponsored stream, playing golf with friends with 3 of my mods, and they were all very, very, very angry, swearing, saying how it was the worst game they'd ever played in anger. And I was like, okay, let's do this sponsor stream again the following day, and that'll be the one that I submit. Because I had to redo the whole thing. Because I'm like, I'm not sending this. Like, half of it is just them screaming and swearing like the worst swear words you could even imagine. Well, without being too offensive, but yes. Moni just has a filthy mouth. She's like, the amount of times that she's been yeah, honestly, Moni, the amount of times that Moni's been, we've gone and raided a family friendly stream, and she's, in fact, my favorite was when we went in once and she said, oh, that's fucking amazing. And the person says, oh, please don't swear. And she's like, oh, I'm so fucking, but then she's like, oh, I'm so fucking sorry. It's like, oh, I'm such a shit person. And like, no, that's also swearing, Moni.
The odd part is I swear so much off stream. For someone who doesn't swear on stream.
Oh, you don't swear on stream? Oh, very.
No, mostly. So a lot of people think it's because I want to be like kid friendly. It's nothing to do with kids. It's because of people watching me at work. So I have no swear words in chat, and I don't swear.
Okay.
Purely so that work lurkers, like this was a conscious decision, so that people could have me up at work and know it's going to be fine. There is going to be no swear words up whatsoever. If they leave their headphones on a bit too loud, they're not going to hear anything.
Yeah.
Because most of my audience are like my age or older, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
According to the stats.
Oh, I could not do that here, unfortunately.
Also, it's because I couldn't stop swearing in front of babies, and I needed to find a way to turn my filter off. The amount of time my friends have gone, look at my child, and then 2 seconds later I've sworn in front of them, and they've just given me like the eyes of like, can you not, for like 2 seconds.
But you managed to switch on and off when you're on. That's impressive.
I swear less in real life now as well, mostly, which is, I think, overall a good thing again, because when you're in like education, it's so lax in like that regard of like, also like appearance, hair color, language. It's lax. Lecturers swear.
Yeah. You
know, you swear, your students swear, like it is what it is. So I got to a point where I was like every other sentence.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anybody watch this stream at work. Unfortunately, I think Moni was on. People have been on work calls when they've used like a fart sound effect, and they've been like, "Was that you?" Like, no, definitely wasn't. That was Yuffie. What do you like best about streaming?
It's just fun, honestly.
Yeah. Like,
okay, I'm like, for people who don't know my chat is very spam heavy, in-joke heavy, feral energy. And like every now and again, I just stop and think of these like grown people at their office who are typing these things into my chat. Like every now, like, and then it just cracks me up thinking there are grown adults just sat doing their real life job, which could be super serious.
Yeah.
Typing the most like wild things, just, you know, in my chat, like honking, yelling ka-chow, you name it. Like these are grown people. A little bit of like, a bit of freedom from their normal work lives. And it's like for that time you click, like obviously my life has been a bit of a mess and we're out the other side, but you know, for that time that you're clicking, and when I was writing my thesis, that time I click go live to end stream, the only thing that matters is the game and chat. Yeah. There's that little oasis of space where it's just, and also no one thought I was funny in real life, right? No one thought I was funny. No one liked the things I liked. And then I get on Twitch and I realize that, oh, hold on. There are people like me here. There are people who get my jokes. Because at least at the very start, I was very dry humor. Okay, yeah. And like people in real life just, they thought I was serious with everything I'd say. And they just like stare back like I was just chatting the weirdest stuff. And I was like, it's a funny joke if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, but no, they didn't get it. And then I come on Twitch and everyone's like, my energy, you know, on my wavelength. And suddenly it's like, oh, this is nice. Like, I can get used to this. Like, people, because the algorithm, like YouTube, Twitch, the algorithm finds people like you.
Yeah.
And you find people like you to like surround yourself with. And like, you all get to be, you know, your feral selves for just a little bit of moment in time.
I like that. And when you say, like, obviously you've got in-jokes and stuff, do you ever find it like a problem with new people popping in, or do they go and join the weirdness straight away? Because I felt right at home when I got in.
In-jokes are pretty, like, easy to get, I think.
Yeah.
You know, like, especially recently. I think things were a bit more complicated back in the day. But with the most recent ones, like, you know, like when I was on... for Twitch drops, which always increase the amount of people in your chat like drastically.
Yeah.
And all chat were doing were just they'd be like, yell ka-chow when you've got your drops, and like everyone was like, cool, I can do this.
Yeah.
So everyone was just yelling ka-chow all the time, constantly. It's the same for like everyone claiming their name is Sam. I had so many new people come in and say, I am Sam, and I'm like, this is your first message. Like, how are you already doing this?
What's the thing, the secret behind, or the story behind Sam, or is it?
Oh, so 2 people subbed in a row, and they both had Sam in their name, and I was like, oh, your name's Sam too. What are the chances that 2 Sams will sub in a row? Oh, I wonder who else. And I knew it as I said said it. Like, who else in chat is named Sam? And literally this block just moved of like, I am Sam, and I was like, no. This is no, I know full well some of you are lying right now, and they're like, prove it, I'm Sam. And then like people are named Sam in the Discord now, and they're like, I'll have a message every morning being like, good morning, Sams. It's like, stop.
And like the place we're going to is Samarkand. There you go.
I know, I hate it. I hate it.
That was completely coincidental.
We used to have like, I like interaction. So we used to have these streams when I played Animal Crossing. And you know when like you've just started an island, so you can only get 3 villager types when you go villager hunting. When you just start. So we used to have this game we'd play whenever I restarted, which was a lot because I got burnt out, so I'd restart like every other week at one point. Where we'd villager hunt, and if someone in chat named the name of the villager that we see on the next island, chat win a point. And then if they don't, I win a point. And it kind of, soon there was a Google Doc with everyone's names next to it, and these people coordinating like who's on what name to try and win, stuff like that. So they've always been, they like to call it the hive mind.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Don't talk about Finland. No, don't get me.
Finland, is that near Finland?
No, yeah, that's the land in which chat live in. They've named... I always say get in the bin whenever someone says something in chat that I don't like. I'm like, just get in the bin. So then one day I decided to put, you know, like the little chat widget, I put that in a bin. And then I set the bin on fire with a GIF as well. And I was like, that'll be the end of it. And then chat were like, oh, we love it in here. We shall name it. And then chat were like, oh, I wonder how you found a nation. And then they found out all you needed was a plot of land to become a nation. And next thing I know, they collectively had named it Binland. And then they were electing leaders, which is all this happening while I was streaming. Like, I wasn't doing anything. This was all happening just in front of my eyes of them electing Binland officials.
And you have to pay taxes, I hear. Are you charged?
No.
It says she makes us pay taxes.
I don't. I explicitly, that came around because I had a friend in chat, and he was annoying me. So I was like, oh, you got to pay tax to be here. And all of a sudden being chat, because it was one of my mods, always take that as a personal offense. You know, I attack one person in chat, I attack them all. So then they started like donating and being like, guess we all have to pay our taxes now. And I was like, no, do you know how bad this looks? Like some poor person coming in for the first time, seeing chat go, oh, I guess it's taxes day, like sending me money. I was like, no, please.
This is going to go viral on Twitter. It's one of those streamers that's like, where's your $5? It's only $5.
Like, please, no. Like, I don't make them do anything. They're doing this from their own free will. And then they'll claim they have no free will. and that
And
they're trapped in the stream. And I'm just sat here like, I don't know how I get new followers because they're all like, oh, I'm stuck in the basement. I haven't seen my family in days.
And these are all
Tell
grown
my
adults at
husband I love
work,
them.
you say?
Yeah, yeah. Tell my husband I love them. Like, someone give food to my dog. He hasn't been fed since like, and I'm just sat there like, this must be terrifying if you're a new person.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Outside, well, actually, we'll move on to the next bit. Well, yeah, no, let's say, well, outside of streaming, what do you get up to?
Well, I live with my parents at the moment, and I'm trying. There was a moment of time where like content creation was like everything. Like I gave up. Like real life didn't exist. It was just YouTube videos, streams. Like I was loving it, but I kind of realized, like, you know, you get that moment of clarity after big life events that like maybe. I hate it. I can see them. Press 1 if you're. This is what I get.
Joined
Press
in as
1
well.
if you're
I was
held
like,
hostage.
yeah. I'm held hostage by my mods. It's the other way around here. They, yeah.
But yeah, I realized I had this moment of clarity when I was like, I need a life outside of like this, like, because I just basically went from my whole life was like streaming and PhD, and I kind of kept the same work ethic, but with no PhD when that finished.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I was like, I came home and I was like, okay, I cut my streaming schedule down. So now every weekend I just try and go out with the parents, go somewhere.
Oh, nice.
I've got a lot of plants in this room right now.
I love it.
As well. So
Really
I've
need
adopted
to-
many a plant in my time. And just also focusing on like gaming for myself a bit as well again.
Yeah,
Just
do you play
keep it-
games off stream?
Yeah, so I've always had this rule that like Switch games are well, not all Switch games, but in general, I will buy games that aren't on the Switch on my PC, and then there is no obligation, which worked mostly fine until No Man's Sky came to the Switch, and then all of a sudden I made a video on that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'll go for like things that aren't on the Switch on PC, then I don't even feel guilty.
Someone said to ask about your Voldemort cosplay and Diva. Diva, as in like Diva the.
Let me see if I want to see if you can if it googling it.
Is it
comes
like
up with
the
anything.
Overwatch character?
No, oh god, why it comes up first thing on TikTok.
Wow.
Like if you Google it, it's the first. It's so I don't know if you want to see it honestly. Maybe I can just like send. You can just watch it, mute.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
If you send it on something, I can click on my phone, so I have access
Do
to
on
that.
Twitter.
Right.
Oh god, that was so loud in my ears.
Voltob.
I used to have a green screen, so I used to green screen myself. It's probably worth noting. So I used to like, so for Voltorb, I put on a bald cap and then I green screened it so my face looked round. And then I drew.
I think I've seen that picture. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Love it.
I've got that. That's the Diva one. I don't know where the Voldemort one is.
I need to. Yeah. I'll have to put this in the link when this goes up.
I was gonna say you
wow,
just
that
visually you can describe it and people will probably get the same vibes.
that is. I can show. Well, let me show if it shows up on here. Unfortunately, the nook at the top of my phone doesn't. That is amazing.
That's how I used to go viral on TikTok. Was the
I
curse
can
cosplayers.
see. I can see
I did
why.
Diva. Oh god, which one's?
I think I still owe chat me dressing up as Pietro at some point. Oh, things have gone weird. It's weird because like it's just weird on my Twitch. Oh, there we go. I think you're back.
Oh, mine disconnected as well earlier.
Oh, that's strange because you were going on like on the OBS, you were still moving, but like in the Get Star thing, it wasn't.
Oh yeah, Pietro had a blow up suit for.
Oh wow. Okay, I need to check all of these out. Okay, let's go into the Pride stuff then, because you are, and I did find you through the Twitch UK and Ireland's Pride campaign. How does it feel to be part of it?
I'm trying to remember. I think I've been part of it before, but before it was a shelf, and they were like, "You're in Pride," and then nothing really happened.
Oh, I had the same thing last year. Yeah, I was in the one last year, and I'm like, it didn't make any difference. I just had to put loads of extra security, and fewer people ended up tuning in and talking. And like one of my own mods couldn't even talk because of all the security they had to add.
Yeah, this year I think if you get a front page slot, I mean, this is the real tea. Front page does nothing either.
No.
It all does nothing. Front page is just fake viewers. anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you will see no gain after you finish front page.
No.
Honestly, but yeah, it's pretty cool from a point of like, yeah, like being acknowledged as, because I'm a bisexual person who has only ever dated men. So for a long time before I joined Twitch, I didn't think I could even say I was bisexual, because I was like, I haven't, I've only been with men. Like you appear straight. Like I was with a dude, so I was like, like I can't even call myself queer,
Still valid,
and
as Gemma says, still very valid.
which is something I later learned. And I was like, just because I haven't been successful with women doesn't mean that I'm not bisexual. Your success in dating does not define your sexuality.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
so then so my whole journey on Twitch has just been me more and more embracing being LGBT. Like now I'd even say like, I'm not even sure bi is the right label. It's just the easiest label, if that makes sense. Like most people will know what bisexual means now, whereas, some of the other tags, a lot of like my parents and stuff wouldn't really know what that means. So I always say to my own chat that questioning or unsure, also valid.
Yeah.
Also valid. That's why I love saying I'm queer, because label doesn't matter then. I love that word for just describing myself.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, the Q, queer, questioning, it's both very, very, very valid. I mean, I'm not, I'm gay, I'm not bisexual, but I'm very jealous of that flag. Like the best colors.
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm like hesitant to go for any change tag, because it's just, I've seen it on TikTok. I've been sent TikToks by the algorithm of you're just saying you're bisexual because it's your favorite flag, and like I feel seen. Like, it is such a nice flag, and like I used to have my hair the same color as it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt very much like I found myself through Twitch. Like I got validated for how I felt, and I feel like now I look back on my life, and you see all these like signposts that you weren't straight, that you had ignored for many, many years, to the point where when I finally came out, my mum was like, I've known for years, Eeowna. And I was like,
oh, that is the perfect response.
That makes sense. And then I remember telling my dad, and he was like, and just walked off. He was like, could not care less.
Oh, that's really nice.
So I'm very lucky that I had a very nice coming out journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me a while to like figure out, I think, for a while. And then, I lived in quite a sheltered area in Surrey for my whole life. So, queer people didn't exist in school really.
Yeah.
There was no queer education. So for me, that whole it opened up a little bit at university, but then the internet really opens things up. Yeah. Like I always say that I have learned so much from the internet. Like I have a small example of me making a mistake is I once did this bit about people who use light mode. Right on, and I went on this massive rant, and someone very nicely in chat went, hey, I know you're trying to be funny, but people with visual impairments have to use light mode. Like it's the contrast is they can't do it the other way around. And I was like, that is a very good point that I didn't even think of. And I've had many of those moments of like me being educated as a sheltered person.
That is great that you are like receptive to that kind of stuff. Like I'm somebody that uses light mode. I use light mode because I've got three lights right in my eyes, and if I'm looking at something dark with like low contrast, there's no way I'm able to tell the difference. Whereas light mode is great, and also it wakes me up in the morning if it's on if I've got light mode on. But yeah, no, that's the thing that shows. It's not like you don't judge somebody by them making mistakes. You judge people by how they respond to those mistakes.
I've heard of this thing as well, where like your first thought is what society tells you to think, and your second thought is who you are as a person. And I feel like this whole 3 years has just been me meeting people I would have never have met before, and learning so much about the greater world and everything like that. Like this is one of the strengths of Twitch that I don't think enough people talk about. Like you can watch a YouTube video about someone and know nothing about them.
Yeah. But
there's only so much you can hide when you're watching someone 4 times a week for 4 hours.
Exactly.
I feel like that's why there's a lot less Twitch controversy than YouTube. It's easy to hide who you are on an edited video.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot less people get blindsided by someone's personality when they stream.
You know what they're like. Yeah, which sometimes can be a bad thing. I mean, we've seen quite recently.
Yeah. Like how, like, for example, when you have a troll in chat, when something unplanned happens, it's so telling how you react to that.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And you can't, YouTube, they can just edit that out. They have a bad moment, it's gone. Like, that's one of the reasons I will never stop watching Twitch or streamers in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, obviously, I'm not like parasocial, like you're my friend kind of thing, but I feel a lot more confident in putting my faith in supporting someone on Twitch. If they, or even if they're on YouTube, but also stream, you know?
Yeah. Show the real side of them. Yeah, I know a few, people who are YouTube and Twitch, and yeah, it does really, you do really see the real them when they're on Twitch.
I call YouTube my catfish because I don't yell, I'm calm, I'm collected in my thoughts. And then they come to Twitch and it's like, stop saying your name, Sam, like every 2 seconds.
Oh, when you're recording videos and you're doing, and it's like voiced, do you read, are you, because I apologize, I haven't seen your video, but are you on camera or is it like voiceover of clips?
So I do like list videos, reviews, that kind of content. So it's kind of bullet point scripted. Sometimes I have sometimes I do know when I'm speaking to camera versus when I am recording pure voiceover, like I'm going to put game footage over me.
Yeah.
So if I know game footage is going over me, I write it much more extensively.
Yeah.
If I know I'm talking to the camera, then it's bullet points.
Because I'm always weird, like I've done this before and I'm like, it just looks like I'm reading something, but yeah, I think bullet points is like the best way to do it. What?
YouTube is wild.
Yeah, there's so many different like variables. I guess with Twitch, it's like you go live and you do your thing, whereas YouTube, yeah. How long does it take you to make a video on there?
Oh, I'm gonna show myself. Okay, so like a large part of it is like research, and the script writing is generally longer. But not to call myself out, but I often record, edit, and put up the video on the same day.
That's I mean, that is a long time still for some people. But it is
because it is mostly because I've kind of got a process now.
Yeah.
When I write the script, I know it's going to work and everything. So I've got kind of a workflow now, but it's why I don't have an editor, because I'm not organized enough to give him 24 hours to edit a video. Yeah.
And do you tend to do it on a day that you're not streaming then? Do you have like a streaming day and then a YouTube video day?
So I used to do 2 videos a week, but obviously I decided I needed to live a life and I got a bit more flexible. So now it's a minimum of every 4 days. But yeah, the days I'm not streaming, now I don't need to stream 3 times a week. So the days I'm not streaming, I'll have at least one day where I try and do nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe play a few games for a review or an upcoming video, but that's about it. And then the other 2 full days I'm off tend to be entirely making videos.
Nice. Very nice.
And then I edit sometimes after stream as well.
Wow. Hard work.
It is, but like stream doesn't feel like work. Stream is just where I get sweaty, but it doesn't feel like I actually did my job.
That's good, because some people say like you shouldn't go full time because you're not going, because then it starts feeling like a job, etc. But you haven't found that.
No, but that's because I've never seen, Twitch has always been the reward. It was when I did my PhD. Now I'm making YouTube videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is when I only look at my monthly stats, because I don't believe in judging your performance based on a stream by stream basis when there's so many variables. But seeing that little thing tick up, like a month on month, is kind of also rewarding for the stuff you do. I mean, obviously YouTube subscribers as well, also a meaningless metric, but yeah, it's still nice to see like we're closing in on, I think, 100K now.
Wow, that's incredible. Congratulations. You get a plaque for that.
Yeah, that's the only reason. I know it's meaningless. I'm literally there like, please subscribe to my channel. Not because of any other reason other than it'd be cool to have a plaque.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing where, because I don't know if you know, I work for Great Ormond Street Hospital. I'm like the gaming and streaming person there, and I'm trying to get planning an event in October, and I'm like, we need some like plaques. We need some stuff that like for certain people that if they reach a certain amount, I want plaques to go out, because people love plaques. So I'm trying to get those out as well. But yeah,
I'm always pretty open with the fact that like this is all pretty new to me. Like obviously I've been doing this for 3 years and was partnered within a year. So
Brilliant.
Like you could say I have a bit of like I did well before all this, but it was it a year and a bit ago? So a year and 4 months ago, I had 2,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
So like this whole like thing, and it's been a lot to like mentally deal with, because I've been, before, if I pooped on a game, it was me pooping on a game into the void. Now I've kind of had to reevaluate my content, because it's not a vibe when you get larger to tear down indie games.
Yeah.
And there's been a few things I always like don't think of myself as being particularly large, because on the grand scheme of YouTube, I'm just like, you know, a splatter in the ocean. But there are times where I've got to kind of say like, no, hold on a second, like reevaluate what you're saying, because this could maybe come across in a bad way.
Yeah. Okay, I understand.
Like,
Yeah,
that's the only reason why, like, the only time I've had to think and go, like, wait, hold on, evaluate your size. Think about how this looks. So, like, maybe you've noticed that, like, videos tend to be on my favorites. And if I don't talk about some games, and that's because if I have nothing good to say whatsoever, like, the only times I talk negatively about a game is if I like the game, but the Switch port is trash, which is common.
Yeah.
I don't mind pooping on a port when the overall game is fine.
Yeah. That's
true. It's different to tear down a whole game.
And knowing like quite a few gaming content creators that do stuff on YouTube, like they get the views on the stuff that when they shit on a game. So it's like easy views, isn't it? If you want to shit on a game to get that high. But
I don't mind doing it for Disney Dreamlight Valley, because games loft are big, and also calling out for microtransactions is not me overall pooping on the game.
No. I think they'll survive.
I just think sometimes the better thing to do is to just not talk about. I would say on stream like, oh, I didn't like it, but I won't necessarily dedicate a whole video to just tearing it completely down.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally understand that. Right, we're actually getting quite close. It takes a little bit of a while to kind of slow down as we go around, but just like the last of the Pride questions, what do you have to say if there's an aspiring content creator listening to you now, and they're worried about streaming because they're LGBTQ+, and they're worried about like some of the hate and things that they've seen many people get, especially this Pride Month? What do you have to say to them? What would you recommend?
I know this sounds dumb, but it's not about you. This person just goes around finding people with queer tags and will say the same thing to every single streamer. Like, for me at this point, those copy paste, like, you know, bigoted views, that kind of thing, you know, like sexist views, those are someone who doesn't know your content or you at all. They have gone around to every single one just trying to get reaction. So if they're a first-time chatter and they've posted that in your chat, I guarantee you they've been banned in every single other LGBT chat in that category right before you. And I know it sounds weird, but somehow pulling it behind and realizing it's nothing to do with you as a person, and just that tag, kind of taking it apart from it being a personal attack on you, I find really, really helps.
Yeah.
The harder hate is when it is personal. That's the ones I'm still working with, especially with YouTube comments.
Yeah.
To me, the copy paste, like general, they look at your tags on Twitch. Once you've heard it once, that's it. It's the same every time. Trolls aren't creative.
And in the chat, Pitchers Plant said, if I may also add, you teaching us to just spam queer, hype, and LGBT plus emojis instead of responding is so helpful for everyone there. Because, I guess it keeps it positive.
Yeah, so my rule is you're not to respond to anyone in chat who comes in saying hate.
Okay, I'm going to take that. I'm stealing that.
I blanket made it, because all it does is you end up being stuck on it. You end up in this loop of chat answering back and chat getting in this idea. So back when, you know, all my regulars now know anything, because also the issue is chat kind of moves fast, or sometimes not fast enough when a hate message appears. And your mods can't get to it. You can't get to it. You're in the middle of something and it just lingers there until someone replies. So after being on the front page for a few queer events, I was like, hey, whenever we get comments about this, it's the same when I get a lot of comments about my weight as well. Same for the weight comments. Don't acknowledge them. They want to rise, because sometimes I will actively ignore, right? And the last thing you want when you are trying your best to ignore is to see an argument or people reply in chat.
Yeah.
So the rule is just spam emotes and move the chat off, and then it's like you're starting again.
Okay, right. I'm using that. Mods.
So
I need
good.
to add
It's
that.
so,
That's a great
because
idea.
it stops arguing. You don't get any of the weird backlash. Like everyone just forgets. Half the people don't even see it till someone mentions it.
And like, yeah, the emotions as well. Like, it's you're not even bothering giving them a verbal response. That you can't even be bothered. Like, not you can't be bothered, but like you don't deem them worthy of even sending them a message. It's literally like just here are a bunch of emotes of positivity.
Because if you watch larger streamers, it's what they do.
Yeah.
You never hear them. You never hear them acknowledge it. Like maybe you'll get someone doing it for a bit.
Yeah.
Potentially, but out of the number of the ones they get a day. Like I have banned phrases on YouTube now, so I don't even have to see it.
Okay, that's good.
Like woke.
Oh God, whatever that means. Right. Okay. We're getting very, very close, and there's so many questions I haven't answered yet. So can I do some quick fire ones?
Go for it.
While I go into, I'm going to remove AI piloting. So I apologize. There we go. I have taken control, and we immediately bank to the left. Perfect. What was the first game you ever played, and what was your first console?
First console was Game Boy Advance SP, and I think the first game I played was probably one of the Mario Karts.
Brilliant. Okay. What game do you think you've put the most time into?
Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah, same.
2,000 hours.
Same. 2,000 hours. Oh, those lockdown days. They were quite something. Although I never restarted my island, so I still got the original one that I started at midnight when it was released.
Worked out. I must have started like 500 times.
Wow. Who's your favorite character? I haven't. This isn't one of the questions, but who's your favorite villager?
Eeowna, because it's me with an E at the end instead.
Of course.
And she glows in the dark. She's also a streamer, so I used to say that I was gonna send Nintendo a lawsuit.
I feel like I've heard maybe I did watch you during lockdown or something. I don't know. I'm sure I've definitely seen this before. Or I heard
clips on TikTok or anywhere.
Yeah.
I got reposted on YouTube a lot apparently as well.
Possibly.
Back in the day.
Possibly. What are your top 3 games of all time?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I couldn't stop crying at all. Probably Animal Crossing because it's Animal Crossing. And then I don't know about the last one. I can never decide. Maybe Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
So good.
Potentially. There's like loads. Or No Man's Sky because it's just endless fun.
You said you didn't stream No Man's Sky and then it came to Switch and you did. How often do you do that now, or is that?
I haven't played No Man's Sky in ages. We're in a very busy period of my gaming time must be also cozy gaming time.
Yeah. By the way,
there's 8 games coming out in the next 3 weeks.
Oh, honestly, yeah. With that Xbox showcase I was watching, I know you're Nintendo, but I think there are quite a few that are on there as well. It's just so many great games. By the way, we're flying over the center of Samarkand, which I said earlier is one of the oldest cities in the world. It's on the Silk Road that goes across. It's a
None
road.
of you say you're home. I'm watching you.
And okay, what is this is a really good one. I always love asking this. What's your favorite game soundtrack?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like Mario Kart is always a vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Also, just any of the Xenoblades. Like, if I want to feel sad, I listen to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like, honestly, I have never sobbed for so long in my entire... I cried for, the whole last 3 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I was just there on the settee, like blubbering.
That's really interesting, because I played a fair bit of it, but I couldn't... I played about 15 hours and felt I wasn't really going many places. So is it worth... It's definitely worth going along. Is it worth playing the others, or is it's more of its own standalone?
It's kind of their own, mostly. They do intertwine a bit. Like, there are a few characters and a few revelations that happen that I recognized maybe earlier than the story would give it to you, because I was like, I know her.
Yeah.
I recognize her. But honestly, the reason why it's better than 2 was very, very fantasy and very focused, was very anime-y. But because every character only lives for 10 years, and a few of them are coming up to the end of that period, there is a lot of conversations around those topics that you can very easily relate to. It was a much more relatable story about them figuring out what they've done in their lives. Have they done anything worthwhile on their 10 years? Like, what is it going to be like at the end of their 10 years? And that whole conversation, because they have a day where that's just it. 10 years comes along, done, no matter where they are in their lives, whether, And I think once they started talking about that side of things, the game really shone through.
Yeah. Okay.
For me personally.
Because they were quite near the end. Somebody's saying why we're not seeing too fast. Yes, because normally when we start landing, it comes up with like the approach thing. And it's like you need to go and follow, like go through these cones kind of to make sure that your approach lines up. Fortunately, we're not getting that, so I might have to just do this. I might have to just literally wing it and find out. But yeah, have you got the Switch OLED?
Yeah, I have multiple.
It's so good, isn't it? Yeah. It is a game changer for me for handheld.
I never used to play handheld, and then I got it, and now I'm I did buy myself a stupidly big TV.
Oh, I love it. What? Wait, is it an OLED TV?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand technology. I just see it says which Best Buy, and I'm like, buy.
Oh, we just got a new OLED TV, and it's amazing. But like, yeah, Zelda, you can see every problem with that game. Like
you can smooth it out. So like Animal Crossing, you can play at 60 FPS on my TV, and it is.
Really? Beautiful. Oh, has it got like a special thing in that?
Yeah, like
clever.
It like fills in the gaps, basically.
Okay, that is really clever. Sorry for the turbulence. I say turbulence. I don't even know how to land this thing now. This is going to be great.
Half my chat have IBS, so have fun with that.
Don't worry, it's all up the walls now. Let's go and turn on. I don't know how I'm meant to be. I mean, I could just put AI, but I don't want that. Display direction. Yes, do I want that? I don't know. There is a bit where you kind of ask them, oh, here we go. ATC, air traffic control, nearest airport, Samarkand. Okay, maybe I have to request. Oh, I can request. I said we were near the end, and I'm like, still, we're going to do like multiple loops of this thing. Tune, okay. Yeah, request airport. Oh, cancel landing intentions? No, we want to. I want to land. Please. Oh, there we go. Finally, it's got the thing pop up. That's the little blue thing just underneath me. And we're actually not going too quickly as well. Okay, so a few more games before we go on to a few more questions before we move on to the chat ones. And there's a bunch of ones I've already asked you. What future games are you looking forward to playing and or streaming?
Well, Fae Farm, but I also kind of got to play that already. Because they invited me down. We got the Story Seasons end of this month that I'm looking forward to. Mineko's Night Market.
That's weird. I played the demo last Next Fest. That was weird. I loved it.
Then later we've got things like Go Town. It announced in the Wholesome Direct that I've got a video coming out later today with half of these in. Is it Loftia? A cozy MMO where you get together and you build a sustainable future on a random planet together. So that sounds, it's very ambitious. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull it off. But if they do, the idea of a cozy MMO is just, it'll be so much fun. So much fun.
Have you played many MMOs before? Or?
I try to play a few and then I get verbally abused and then I leave.
Wow. Oh.
Because I suck normally.
That's what I like about Final Fantasy 14. I've never been abused. In fact, it's only ever happened once where there was one dungeon and there was somebody that was a bit rude and the other three people, we just booted them. It was like, okay, we'll boot them.
I used to play COD back in pre-content creation days. And that, no, not COD. No, which was the other one?
WoW?
Counter-Strike.
Oh, wow.
Being on voice chat for that was... I had a mod on my voice to make it sound like a dude for a while.
Oh.
It was just so much easier.
It's depressing that
it
has to be. I was actually giving a talk in work today about like gaming audiences, and like I got this this great kind of study that had been done, and there are lots of men that will need to look at it and realize that they are not the only people that play games.
Well, you should have seen the abuse under. There was admittedly it was only 10,000 people in America, so I somewhat understand being questioning of this, but a Nintendo article, like not official Nintendo, like a Nintendo news site, posted that out of a sample of 10,000 people, they found that in the American population, 52% of all Nintendo Switch owners were female.
Yeah.
The comments, however, were trying to deny that. Now, my audience is about 70% female. Admittedly, it should be less. I think there's no non-binary option, which I think there are many non-binary people in my community, but that's a different issue. But it doesn't not rocket science to think the Switch skews quite female.
No. Yeah,
like,
I mean, Yeah. I mean, this study was a year ago, and I think like it was all roughly like 60-40, probably less. It was actually less than 60-40 skewed to men in pretty much every single thing, except for PC gaming, which was like 66.
And that's mainly because of how difficult the barrier entry to owning a PC is so much
Yeah.
scarier than console.
Exactly, yeah. And like the games that are only available on PC, I'm finding a lot. Well, when I went in, it was a lot of abuse. I went and actually played, what's it called? Rainbow Six Siege, and uninstalled it within a minute. After the first game, I was like, someone called me a noob. And I'm like, yes, I am. But I'm also going to delete it. So
And you have to look at the comments on the No Room for Abuse video on Sky on YouTube.
Yeah.
I realized how bad it is.
Shocking.
Oh, so bad.
What is your game of the year so far? By the way, yes, it does say too fast. However, in a very short time, it won't say too fast.
Oh, no. Oh, God. I'm trying to think what I've played this year so far. I'm still kind of waiting for something to probably stand out. I've had a lot of fun games like Sunhaven. I had a great time with, but it's not out on the Switch yet. Roots of Patra, although they went through their own drama.
Did they? Oh, I don't know what that drama is because I've played that like when
They got removed from Steam for like a month.
Oh, I didn't see that.
The devs and the publishers had a falling out. So as per Steam's, I guess Steam has gone through this before. Obviously, there'll be disputes over payment if this is going on. So to save that, Steam will just remove them.
Wow, jeez. Gosh.
So they got removed for a month and then parted ways with the publisher under an amicable agreement. Which, by the way, PSA, Kickstarters have big risks. No one talks about this enough.
Yeah.
Those people who are trying to get it on the Switch, this is a dev team who have lost their publishers who would do a lot of stuff about porting. So just as your friendly reminder, a Kickstarter has no refund policy.
Yeah. Pretty much
No one talks about that enough. They're like, yeah, back all these games. These games are great. There is no promise you will ever get that game in your pocket.
Yeah.
Especially if you are getting it on the Switch.
True. I had to be, yeah, I've only ever kickstarted one game, which was Moonlighter, which was great. And but it had Square Enix behind it, so I had a bit of trust.
People don't realize, though, that they're looking, yeah, you backed it. You're looking at 5+ years, potentially.
Yeah.
Like,
this
people are
was
still
5 years.
complaining about Coral Island on the Switch. Like, oh, I haven't got it yet. It's not out. It's not going to be out for at least another 6 months. Like, I think Kickstarter is often shown in this beautiful light. And I think a lot of people forget the negatives or the risky side of it.
Yeah.
You're backing a idea, not a product.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, final thing before we go into the chat queues. Do you have what are your plans for the future and your goals?
Hopefully. Oh, I do have a big one. It's not necessarily me, though. I want to see one of the top Nintendo content creators be a woman.
Yeah?
Because there is still... Now we know that it's over 50% female. It is not 50% at the top. You search for Nintendo stuff, and you will be met with mostly men, almost exclusively men.
Yeah.
There. And so the goal is to see a female talk about the Nintendo Switch and be punching up with the big boys at the top.
Fingers crossed that it's you. That'll be fantastic. By the way, we're about to land.
Let's go!
Oh, God.
Brace
I
for
still have the
impact,
wheels. The wheels are out. That's good.
Brace!
We seem to be getting close. I don't know what the brake button is. That's the one thing. Because there are two
Close your eyes!
control schemes. Okay, drinks up. In fact, drinks will be on the ceiling in a
Can't
second.
notice you crash if your eyes aren't open.
Oh, a little bounce. Touch and go. Oh, touch and go.
I swear to God, chat, do not clap when we land. You are not these people.
A little bouncier than last time. Last time it was weirdly good. This time not so much. But we landed. We did bounce once. We pogoed once.
I hate it. You're not these people. You're better than this.
Ah, brilliant.
You are not.
Did it.
They were better than this.
That landing does not deserve clapping, says Ed Knight, who is my partner. And in the other room. And I will. How dare you?
The bag went flying. Yeah, good luck with finding your belongings, chat.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, yeah, scrape yourselves off the ceiling. Could we do like a very, very quick fire because they're like quite a few questions from chat and also from my community that have asked. I'll go first for the chat question, who was, somebody said, is Gumby your favorite?
No.
No, there we go. Perfect. That is a quick answer. Gemma says, congrats on getting your doctorate. Between chemistry and being a streamer on Twitch, you're in two fields that can be pretty sexist. Do you have any tips or thoughts for women who want to get into fields that privilege male voices? Sorry, that's like not really a quick fire question, is it?
It's like the whole like, oh, bossy, you're being bossy, that kind of thing. Like, there's so many words to describe a woman acting the same as a man in the same position that get used negatively, but positively if you're a man. I think overall it's getting better. I think it's pretty easy to flag up or notice the people who are problematic. And the other thing is just, I mean, I was the only girl in my group for a while, and I went into my PhD being like, I'm going to be a strong, independent woman. And then I couldn't undo the bolts of anything on my reactor the first day. So I had to get one of the guys to come and undo it. And then I couldn't reach something because it was high up and I'm 5'3". But I think also just, I don't know, just punch as good as the rest of them does. And also don't be afraid. I mean, it's different when you're in a corporation, I must say, like with HR and stuff like that. I would just say, like, always speak up and speak out, regardless of whether it's you who's having it happen to. Like, you spot something else with someone else, numbers will help.
Yeah.
And stick together. And you see someone else getting treated badly because, you know, they're a woman, then you step in and you are also a witness to this. And also teach the men around you that being an ally is not being silent.
Yes. 100%.
That helps a ton. I've had conversations with people where I've said, you should have spoken up.
Oh, I'm really glad.
Because they weren't listening to me. You should have said something. And, oh, I don't know. No, next time you say something.
I'm glad you do that. That's important. Really, really important.
So I think, having conversations about what allyship means with men as well is massive. Because once they realize that being silent is not helpful and puts them just as bad a position as, you know, working with them, then suddenly they will start to speak out more.
Now, you were talking about you were in the No Room for Abuse campaign. How did you get involved in that?
I just got an email, honestly. I think it was just, obviously I don't think I made it to the campaign unless they come out with more stuff. I don't think I made it to the overall finished product, but, it was nice. I was a plus size gal. There weren't any other plus size gals there. Obviously the abuse I face online versus the abuse of maybe, you know, I use the word conventionally attractive very loosely, but the abuse I see versus the abuse maybe thinner girls see isn't the same. So I like the fact that I was voicing, you know, my abuse is mostly, you know, to do with my appearance and not looking good. Whereas they, as you saw from the article, they face very different abuse that I haven't really seen on the internet. But yeah, I think right moment, right time. People, I have a management agency, so I think it was some connections in there as well.
Okay. That's useful. What do you what was it? Yeah, this was also, I think this was from Ed, or it might have been Chaddy. What makes a good farming sim, and what do you look for in particular?
It's different because farming sims are now very broad, which I love. Thankfully. Good farming sim for me is nothing feels like a chore. Personally, like I don't particularly want to have to grind out for 17 billion hours to afford, like, you know, a single sheep. For me personally, I mostly look for, I just want it to be like repetitive. I take a lot of comfort in knowing what I'm doing and being able to just log into a game and just, you know, more or less do the same thing with a little bit of a difference.
Do you like the real-time day, like, time cycle?
Not even that, but like, take, for example, Stardew Valley. You wake up, you water your plants, you go off to the mines, you talk to a few people. Like that, almost having a routine, especially when your life is a mess, is very nice. The same reason I loved Animal Crossing. This little routine. And once you know one farming sim, you can kind of jump into them all. But me being nitpicky, particularly now, if it hasn't got a good story or good graphics, then it better be the most non-awkward farming sim mechanics I've ever played. Like, as soon as I've tried 17 times to plow the same plot,
Yeah.
I'm no longer interested.
Oh, I've just run over people. I don't know what. I clicked, so I never know how to turn this thing off. So I never know how to turn the actual thing. I don't know what the button is. I need to find what button it is. So I thought, okay, we're at the end of where we meant to be going. So I'll click on, autopilot, and autopilot will probably just turn it off. No, it just put the engines up as far as, as fast as possible, and ran over those 3 poor people who were helping navigate it. I do apologize. Nobody saw those crimes.
Thank you for your service. I'm sorry it ended this way.
Yeah, sorry. And the final question. Who's your favorite Sam?
None of them. Absolutely none.
Anybody
I don't believe
calls...
a single person's named Sam.
Perfect
They've
ending.
named the dead guy Sam.
Yeah, that was Sam we just ran over. The last Sam. Well, we are in Samarkand, and Eeowna, thank you so much for joining for this. This has been...
Thank you for having me.
Amazing. And thank you so much for bringing your community over here as well. It's been...
I'm sorry for them.
Not at
They're the
all.
worst.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure seeing all the comments, and apologies I haven't been able to really chat to them, but you are...
I'm not doing the chicken scream. Grow up.
Where's the chicken scream?
No, you don't want it. It's horrendous.
I know this now.
Wait, I gotta find it. Where even is he?
I thought you were looking to make sure your parents weren't around like that. Oh, here we go.
Right, I tidied my room so I couldn't find... Right, this is gonna be... Let me turn down my mic.
We're about to get it. Is it possessed?
No, he sounds like this normally.
Oh, right.
It's just from filters I put on him.
Oh, the filter. Okay. I was like, that's like something that's going to summon a demon, like that one was at the start. Wow.
No, you put auto tune on and then you just crank up the reverb and the echo, and boom, you've got a, as they call it, a holy chicken.
I love a bit of the, yeah, I've got a Yamaha thing, and so when I have Fauna on my Animal Crossing island, I once spelt it. I drew a picture of her, and it was spelt Eeowna because there was a gap in the middle of her where her head was. So now whenever I'm talking to her, she has the voice. She has this voice when I'm talking to her. So she's like this evil kind of demon summoner. Yes, there is an Instagram account with it on there. AC Border. I need to go bring that back.
Auto-tune karaoke, but I'm not allowed to in Pride Month.
Oh, yeah, you're not allowed to do anything like that. Where's the fun? But yeah, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day, of your editing, because I know you were editing before this as well. So really appreciate you taking your time out to join this. Where can we find you?
On YouTube, on Twitch, all as Eeowna. I haven't posted on TikTok in months, so I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. So mostly YouTube and Twitch, honestly. But yeah, I'm a catfish on YouTube. You'll see like calm, collected version of me, and then on Twitch, I'm just screaming at chat to stop. I
love it. Brilliant. When is your next stream, or when do you normally stream?
Oh, what day of the week are we on?
Tuesday? Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Brilliant. And what time do you normally go live?
2 p.m. BST, and then YouTube videos are normally like 10 or 11 p.m.
Oh, sometimes they take so long to like process. The noise.
Yeah.
And are you playing Paleo Pines tomorrow?
No, we got 2. Tomorrow is Dordogne has come out, and then Thursday is the Fall of Porcupine. So we've got a big week of new games. Brilliant.
Well, I will be watching you at work, which is great because I watch you at work, and then I always kind of feel a bit like people are walking past going like, is he just watching Twitch streams at work? However, I thought that, and I was a bit self-conscious, and then I walked to the bathroom, and there was some guy from finance playing Hearthstone on his computer. So I'm like, okay, I have no guilt feelings whatsoever now.
I used to play Club Penguin at uni together. We'd all be sat there like.
Oh, Club Penguin! I never did that. I had Habbo Hotel though. I used to love Habbo Hotel back in the day when you had to call up or text a certain number, and you get £5 of credit, and then your parents would get really angry because the phone bill would be really high. Brilliant. But thank you so much for joining, and thanks to everybody for watching. You can check out all previous ones because we set off from Cardiff, from Wales, back during lockdown. You can catch all previous episodes at jetstreamers.fm. It's also available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, not iTunes anymore. Apparently that's the name now. Spotify, and you can just any of your podcast players. If you just type in Jetstreamers, it will pop up. But yeah, thank you so much, Eeowna.
Thank you for having me.
A wonderful evening, and yeah, I will see you in your chat tomorrow.
Yeah, woo.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.